So here we are on Wednesday morning. Welcome to Wednesday Wellness. So funny when I press record because suddenly the performer comes out. But you know me, I'm like that most days. So let's grab a block or a cushion. For those of you who are just joining on the recording, we're going to be needing a cushion or a bolster or a yoga block for the start of our class this morning. Just make sure the water is close by. And let us begin. So you're going to find a nice, easy seated position on your mat. And let's just discuss the seating posture to make it the most comfortable position for you in this placement. So if you find it difficult to cross your legs like this, just keep your legs in a seated V position or bend the knees or just be as comfortable as you possibly can. The most important part of this seated posture is the fact that I want you right up on your sits bones and that your pelvis can be upright like a book on a shelf. All right. So the reason why I'm asking you to sit on a bolster or a cushion is because it lifts, it elevates, and makes a lot more space here between your pelvis and your thigh bones. And when we have more space at the hips and the pelvis area, we are able to find more of that axial elongation in the body, which is our first prize 24/7. The awareness and the mindfulness of being taller and feeling that ear-jaw junction suspended from that beautiful buoyant band from the sky just creates that extra lift and space between all of the bones, which is what we are going to be striving for during our times together and our times apart. So just by planting the seed of awareness and mindfulness, hopefully you hear the better parts of my voice and sayings when we are not together in class. Just say yes, yes. So for now, just find that comfortable seated position. If you wanted to put your hands on your knees and help yourself to grow taller, you're most welcome to do that. And if you wanted the extra challenge, you would just relax the arms down by your side and allow your inner body strength to grow taller and keep that uplifted feeling. So for now, we're going to rock from one sits bone to the other sits bone. It's like a little metronome tick-tock, a really slow tick-tock, allowing for our brains and our bodies to find our real centered home position and then bring it back into the middle and rest. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale fully through your mouth. And allow both the rib cage to expand around like a balloon that's inflating, the rib cage as well as your belly. So I want to get a lot more movement around the chest, torso areas. We breathe in and out. And inhale and exhale. Closing eyes this time for 3 deep inhale and exhales, breathing in and out. And inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling and exhaling. Keeping your eyes closed, a mindful check-in that the back of the head, the back of your rib cage, and the back of your pelvis are all evenly positioned, leaning against your imaginary wall of upright support. So just to say that again, the back of your head, back of your rib cage, and the back of your pelvis. Then opening those eyes, let them flutter open. And then moving down through the neck and these collarbones, I want you to allow the collarbones to reach a little bit longer to find a smiley face from shoulder to shoulder in the front, a smiley face from shoulder to shoulder behind you, and most definitely a smiley face on your face. Take an inhale. As you breathe out, we're going to nod the chin, peel the back of your head, and peel the space between your shoulder blades away from your wall. So heading down for a seated roll down, allowing your fingers to walk out onto your floor and using the fingers to keep your sits bones weighted into your block or mat. Take an inhale. As you breathe out, the ribs in the front roll back, the belly skin comes away from your pants, and you re-stack your spine. Allow the arms to float up as you breathe in, gathering the air with the arms and the hands, and exhale as you lower back down. Take another inhale. Exhale to nod. Peel the head, the back of the shoulders, the top part of your ribs here in your back. Fingers come forward. And here, rock your pelvis forwards and backwards, just making triple sure that we're sitting upright onto the pelvis and the back of your pelvis is still upright against your wall. Breathe in and out. And then dragging the fingers back and floating the back of your head back onto your wall. Inhale as you reach the arms up. Exhale as you lower those arms down. One more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, walking the fingers forward. Really feeling as though you're creating this arc C shape over towards the front. Good. Here, be mindful that you don't drop your chin too much. Your head is completing that lengthened arc shape without breaking at the neck. Okay, so I have a pat in front of me, so there's a little head circles happening here. And then gently place the right palm of hand down and start opening up the arm along the diagonal line. Left palm of hand down. Right hand and arm open. Right palm of hand down. Left arm opens. Left palm of hand down. And you're allowing your head and eyes to follow the hand. Right hand down. Left arm open. The ribs in the front and the belly skin have excavated away from the clothing. And just a gentle reach, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. One more, breathe out, breathe in. Lower both palms of hands down, come up onto the fingertips, take an inhale, and exhale as you drag the fingers back simultaneously to unfold and restack the upper back. Arms reach up. Inhale. And then exhale just to float the fingertips onto those shoulders where we're going to roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to reverse the direction as we take it down. 2, 3, pardon me, 4, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring the elbows back wide, and let's butterfly the elbows together and open. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. As you breathe in, you're using your fingertips to assist sliding the skin a little longer over the tops of your shoulders. And open, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Adding a little more movement within that body as we row. It's a row-like motion. Forwards with the elbows. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. I can get all sorts of sounds in my upper back. So it's always good to hear when those bones realign naturally through our movement. Here, if you've been sitting cross legs, cross the other leg over, re-establish that center position for your sits bones. And if you have been sitting with your legs in a low V with straight knees, you just continue to sit like that. Bringing the backs of the hands together into the center, using your index fingers to glide your sternum bone both inwards towards the space behind you and downwards towards your pubic bone. And just notice what happens within your rib cage. The ribs actually come in and the whole rib cage shifts down a notch just by applying that gentle placement of the fingers, index fingers down, pressing hands to your sternum and allowing a downward shift of your sternum and rib cage and easing into our rib rotations. Just the ribs are rotating. There is an upward feeling of spiral length and growth through the entire length of our spines, necks, and heads. Gently over. 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're on diagonal side 1. Release the hands. Take a breath in. Seated diagonal roll down as we breathe out, peeling the head, the shoulders, and walking those fingers out. Use your fingertips to press into your floor, allowing the opposite sits bone to stay down. Breathe in, breathe out, drawing the ribs and the belly skin away from your clothing as you drag your fingers back simultaneously. Arms float up, breathe in, and exhale down. Diagonal roll down 2. Take an inhale, breathe out as you knock your chin. Walk the fingers forward. Using your fingertips to make sure that this opposite thumb hasn't lifted off your cushion. Breathe it in and out. Keep exhaling to draw the front ribs back as you drag your fingers back towards your body. Arms breathe in, breathe out. And one more on this diagonal seated roll down as we walk fingers. Hold. This time taking the palms of the hands down. Take a breath in and out. And inhale. And notice how these ribs on the side are able to open and close a little bit more. And one more. Come up onto the fingertips. Take another inhale. And walk those fingers, sliding and gliding. Arms come up. This time, bring your hands into heart center, praying hands, and then shift backs of the hands in towards that same index finger and hands to sternum placement. And we shift, 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 thinking of upward spiral. Sits bones really well centered on your cushion. They're not moving. 3, 2, and voila. We're on the other side, the opposite diagonal, ready to go. Breathe in, exhale, seated diagonal roll down as we walk the fingers forward. Use your fingertips to encourage the opposite sits bone to remain weighted into your cushion. Breathe it in and out. And breathe in and out. And drag the fingers back. Hands working together. Arms float up and down. So you're still facing your diagonal line for your arm breath up and out. Seated roll down diagonal 2. Breathe it in, exhale. Heel the head, heel your shoulders, walk your fingers away. Opposite sits bone stays down. These underneath ribs have really drawn back towards the opposite side of your back ribs. Breathe in, nice snuggle, and exhale, draw your fingers back. Reach the arms up, float the arms down. Last diagonal seated roll down as you inhale to prepare. Exhale, nod chin, walk fingers forward. Hold. This time you're going to place the palms of the hands down and you're going to encourage a little bit of push out through the heat of the hand as you ensure the pelvis remains well weighted. Breathe in and out. Relax the shoulders down a notch. Breathe in. Feel these ribs opening here on this opposite open side. Exhale as you fold these underneath ribs down on this side of your body. Breathe in and out. Come up onto the fingertips and then drag the hands and the fingers back together. Allow the arms to float up. Bring your hands to your heart space. Bring your body back to the center. Open the arms wide. Interlace the fingers behind your head. And here we want to physically check with one hand that these front ribs, you've shifted them back to the space behind you. So everything is beautifully aligned. Back of head, back of rib cage, back of pelvis. Take a breath in and feel that upward sliding of your hands at the back of your head. Press your head into your hands, elbows in your peripheral vision. Whoop, whoop, with the shoulders. Whoop, whoop, with the shoulders. One more. Whoop, whoop, so that the shoulders sling down and we double twist. Inhale. Exhale, exhale, and that rib cage rotation is super smooth. Inhale. It's as though your body is gliding underneath deep water. Inhale. Inhale, center. Inhale, center. Inhale, center. 2 more. Breathe in, grow an extra little bit taller, maintain that length, and float the arms down forward. Super. Come off your cushions and bolsters and blocks. As I swept just before I put my mat down to teach. That doesn't appear to be like that. Fur and hair have just come back onto the floor. All right, so let's continue. So you've taken your block and your cushion and bolster out. Let's come all around onto all fours. So with coming around onto all fours, some of us may be experiencing a little bit of tension in the wrists. And it's okay, it's nothing to be alarmed about. Just use little bolster cushions underneath your hands with your hand half on and half off your cushion. Or you can even double fold your mat, which works perfectly. Or you could go onto your fists. So just take a moment to see which one is going to work best for you. And if none of those options work for your wrists, you're going to drop me a message. You're going to let me know. But for now, for all of you on the screen, I'm sure that you have found your one of those 3 positions for your wrists. Spread those fingers, so active hands. Feel as though the palm of your hand is lifted off your mat. And let's just jiggy out the bones in the back in this position. So gentle sway. Just let your spine do a little bit of talking here, a little bit of movement flow, a little bit of snaky vibes, and then we're going to bring our bodies back centered and still. The same principles apply for placement and alignment here, even though we're in our quadruped position. So vertical arms, vertical thighs, knees under your hips, wrists under your shoulders, and very much cognizant awareness of the back of your head, the back of your rib cage, and the back of your pelvis. They're all in contact with that ceiling that you've lowered, or if you had a broomstick balancing on your body or a foam roller, you would have those 3 points in contact with your prop. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to roll the pelvis and the head towards each other. So we're going to go straight into our cat. Press the feet and the shins down. See whether you can roll your pelvis, this area, underneath even more. And then release and roll your head and the pelvis out simultaneously. And there we go. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to stretch your sternum in 4 directions and feel as though you're licking your sternum up the wall in front of you. So there's no lumbar arch. It's lengthened in neutral, and just the thoracic upper back is attempting to do that upward extension. And then we're going to bring our bodies back to home position. Breathing in. Exhale, pelvis and head will roll towards each other. 2, 3, 4. Roll under more the pelvis. Press the feet down a little more. Push the hands to the floor a little more. And then release your head and the pelvis. Roll away from each other. Back to home. And the upper body, the sternum stretches, top, down, right, left, lifting sternum up the wall. So for me personally, I really have to be mindful that I do not throw my head back. And then bring it back home. One more. Take an inhale. Exhale. Pelvis and head roll in towards each other. Roll those bottom ribs under. And release. Taking the length all the way back out home. Inhaling. And as we exhale, the sternum feels as though it's licking up that wall. Bring it back to neutral. Tuck the toes under. Float your pelvis to your feet. And let's do a quick inversion position as we take the pelvis up to the ceiling. So I've done a little bit of extra exercise in my body this previous Sunday. So for Monday and Tuesday, I could hardly walk. Really not a grand suggestion at all. It was my own fault. So I'm struggling to get the length of the back of my legs. So feel free to bend your knees and join me. And our focus is to roll the pelvis and the sit bones up as though we have pegged our coccyx to a washing line in the sky. And we're just going to pad the feet and heels out here as we change, just allowing our bodies to stretch in its own time. Three more. 2, 1. Reestablishing a nice, it's almost an elephant position here without the rounded spine. If you can pick up your toes and then move through a rise, lower your knees, open those knees, and just sit back Sit back onto your heels. Make sure that your pelvis is really beautifully weighted down towards your heels, and just assume your best rest position, wherever it feels good for you. And breathe. And as you exhale, literally allow your exhalation to be vocal. And one more. And gently unfurl. Bring the pelvis upright. Then we restack the rib cage and the upper back, head, neck, and shoulders comes with us. Fantastic. So coming round. If you need a little bolster cushion that you normally use for your head, I probably should get a little smaller one, but I'm just going to use this for now. You can see it's being wildly loved by the cats. And let's head on down into our supine position. So I'm just going to quickly grab a sip of water. Oh yes, stay hydrated. That's what I forgot to say. You may be perspiring a little bit more in this heat, and it's quite humid as well. Just make sure that you're replenishing the liquids into the body, the liquids and the natural salts. I found that just before we entered into this extreme heat wave, that my blood pressure was really, really low. And so we normally want to reach for the salty things, and it's usually the unhealthy salty things. So if you're feeling a little low and your blood pressure a little low, or you're feeling dizzy, so you're going to up your water intake, as well as, and this is from a cardiologist, to replenish the natural salts to keep those lifted. You're going to have Bovril or Marmite. So whichever one is your favorite one. Personally, I'm Bovril girl. I really don't like the taste of Marmite, but maybe you like it. So maybe you're the exact opposite. So you put a teaspoon of that or a tablespoon into water, or if you can stomach just taking the spoon and drinking it down with water. That's a really good way to up the natural salts in the body, the good salts, without increasing our cholesterol in that way. With the chips, you know? Oh, I'm also the sucker for chips, my friends. All right. So that hashtag little health tip on this Wellness Wednesday. Use it, don't use it, let me know. But what I have realized is the chances are, if I'm feeling a certain way, and it doesn't matter what I'm feeling, be it anxiety or panic or stress or joy or appreciation or excitedness or low on energy or not being able to do anything, that I'm not alone. There's always someone out there, maybe even one of you, that could possibly be feeling the same thing. So I decided that this year I'm just going to share more, you know, and then maybe in that sharing, I get to help someone else. I just thought I'd add that in there. You see, Kiko agrees. She said she's also willing to share with you, or whatever it is that you may be. Okay, so we come back down onto the mat, and if you're using a cushion under your head, you can put that in. If you are not sure whether you need a cushion, I'm going to give you a perfect demonstration. So I theoretically should be using a little bolster cushion, because this arch in my neck is quite hectic. You know, there's quite a big space between the nape of my neck and my mat. And on top of that, when I'm lying just relaxed here, these ribs come out a little bit more, and my chin tends to point behind me a little bit upwards. And so I really want to allow the sternum and the ribs the best chance of finding that inward, downward, like sands through the hourglass feeling and movement. And I want to decrease that space at the nape of my neck. There we go. So we continue. Let's bring the knees and feet together, create a little V stance, spread your toes, and then scoot your heels to parallel. Bring your heels in quite close to your sits bones, and then take the hands, press them strongly into your thighs. Press. So it's almost as though we're going into a natural traction, an assisted traction of the lumbosacral area as we press the hands with strong input into the thighs, almost as though your back lifts off the floor. You're not thinking about lifting your spine, it just happens as you press strongly, thighs away from you. There's definitely a feeling of weightlessness in the lumbosacral area. Let's do 2 more like that. Take a breath in. Exhale as you press right here, the tops of your thighs. You're pressing your thigh bones away from you. They're not actually moving your feet. And release. And let's do 1 more. Take a breath in. Breathe out. And release. We're creating a little more space between our shoulder blades. Open the arms. Cross one arm over, one arm up, one arm on top. Get your fingers around your shoulder blades and literally shift your rib cage up a notch. Shift yourself higher on your mat and gently rock. Your pelvis stays quiet. What's happening there, Chiquitas? It's fun and games happening on the table, my friends. And then center. Breathe in. As you breathe out, use your arms to weight down into your sternum and rib cage a little more. And let's change over. Other side. Fingertips around those shoulder blades. Shift rib cage up a notch. And roll. A little lullaby for the ribs. Easy over. And then bring it to the middle. Take a breath in. Allow arms, elbows to push and squishy down into your body a little more. And then stretch the arms to T. And then bring it down to your mat. Good. Shoulder blades are directly behind you, underneath you, in their back pockets. Relax. Cheeks, tongue, jaw, and face. Smile, ear to ear. Smile, shoulder to shoulder, front and back. Back side of the body. We roll. Immediately going into first pelvic curl for the day. Take it up as high as you can go with keeping your ribs down. So that same feeling of sternum down and long, ribs down, and they feel like they're shifting towards your pelvis. Breathe in. As you breathe out, like sand through the hourglass, the sternum melts down to your mat. Then you massage through these bottom ribs, smoothly, slowly. Your sacrum triangle, that triangle bone that's able to curve a little, is rolling under with your coccyx. And then we get to release and lengthen the pelvis outline. So if I have little turnstiles here, you know those ones on the side of the city golf cars? So we got little turnstiles here on the sides of our hips. So we can really wheel it, turn it up. So the pelvis has come right underneath you. Sacrum bone sends energy up through the pubic bone and the space between those hips. Long collarbone, smiley face. Take a breath in, breathe out. Sternum goes down first, then we massage through these underneath ribs. The head and neck are relaxed, please. We keep the pelvis rolled right underneath until we feel the waistband touching. And then we release and we allow the pelvis to roll back up. So if you wanted to consider a wave. So we're going to inhale now, take it a little faster as we roll. The wave comes underneath. Breathe in. Exhale. The wave rolls gently back out. So this is as close to the sea as we're going to get, my friends, since we're not allowed on any of the beaches. We're going to just picture in our minds that beautiful wave coming up. Inhale and exhale, smooth wave as we lower down, bone by bone. And one more as we roll it all the way up. Hold. Let's lower the sternum bone down a notch. And between our two panes of glass, we're going to skate horizontally across. Center, drop the rib cage a notch, shift. So the pelvis is super level, moving underneath your two panes of glass. So there's no drop in the pelvis. It is super level. If you wanted to put your hands here and keep sending energy with your hips equally into both hands, and lower sternum and rib cage. Shift, 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 shift. Center, lower sternum and ribs. Shift, 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 shift. Lower sternum and ribs. You're on your skateboard. Gentle gliding and sliding. Lower pelvis. The movement is initiated with the pelvis, not your knees and thighs. So the knees and thighs stay where they are. Yes, they're going to move marginally, but it's not the knees going. Lower down a notch. And one more, so your pelvis is just skimming the mat. And bring it back down. Awesome. Hug those knees into the chest. Pardon me. Give yourself a little rock. Do whatever you need to do to release the back line of the body, which is being switched on to support that pelvic ridge. And possibly even extending those legs up to the ceiling. Give them a little shake, give them a little stretch. And then bend those knees. So come with your thighs into a bug on your back. So your thighs are in line with your hips. They're not glued together, they're slightly apart. Good. Your shoulder blades are underneath you. Your head is in the middle. And then reach the arms up. Open the arms to T, that's option 1. Or goalpost, option 2. I'm just going to slide Snuggles away a bit on her cube. So I'm going to choose this option because it's more challenging for me to keep the top side of my sternum and ribs merging down towards the space under my body. Inhale as we float over. You're going to maintain that parallel space. Exhale, middle. Inhale over. Bring it back to the middle. Bring your knees and ankles together, keeping them perfectly aligned. Opposite shoulder and arm weighted, and you're using the arms down, facing into the floor. Inhale over, knees and ankles nicely in line, applying a little bit of hello. Opposite shoulder and arm down, bring it back. And it feels as though your thighs are just floating in space. Inhale over. These ribs on the opposite side have opened. And exhale. One more inhale over. Exhale back to the middle. Good. Separate. Bring the arms straight up. and straight into leg arcs. There's no movement here. There's no movement in the space between your pubic bone and your belly button, and the space between your lowest ribs and your tailbone and your coccyx. That is still, and the legs are free to go. We're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And lower the left foot down. Time for the arms. Inhale, 2, so it's a little slower. 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Just the arms are going. Everything else is super still and calm. 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Arms. Feet. Here we get into a little bit of coordination. The opposite arm from leg is going to go with that leg. So let's just first come up into bug on the back where the arms reach long. Good. And we're going to opposite arm to leg. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Back of the head is weighted. Back of the ribs are weighted. Just the arms and the legs are moving in opposition. Where am I? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wide collarbones, stillness of pelvis, top ribs and sternum moving down through that sands of the hourglass. Think of that hourglass, and as that sand travels down through the middle, bring the hands down, so the sternum and the ribs do too. And hugs. Put hands underneath the thighs. An assisted chest lift with the hands under the thighs. We're going to breathe in. Breathe out, curl, lift. Good. See whether you can use your arms to curl a little higher. Look at your pubic bone. So tilt your pelvis towards you, tilt the pelvis away. Tilt the pelvis towards you, tilt the pelvis away. Tilt the pelvis towards you, tilt the pelvis away. Tilt the pelvis towards you, tilt the pelvis away. Press the backs of the thighs into the fingers. Breathe in. Bring your knees together, arms up, hands, and release. Breathe in. So right now, these, where your bra band is, heart rate monitor strap, the back ribs are really sinking down with purpose. Inhale, breathe out. Arms arc. Lift head and shoulders a little higher. So we've really increased the excavation of our C curve. Breathe in. Hands. Exhale. Resist going down as you press your head into your hands. 2 more. Curling up. Arc the arms. Round a little more. Arms up. Hands behind your head. Release. 1 more. Breathe in. Exhale. Curl. Arc the arms. Round a little higher. Arms up. Hands behind your head. Gently release. And assisted roll up from this bug on the back position. Inhale, nod. Exhale, breathe out, continuing pressing the backs of your thighs into your fingers until you glide through your sacrum and pelvis and just rest forwards. Coming around to the front in a little bit of a Cleopatra position. So I want you to take hold of your feet and get comfortable here. If you need to sit on the block or a cushion, feel free to do so. And we're just going to go into a side reach and bring the fingertips back to your mat. Breathe in as you go over. Look at those toes. Exhale. Breathe in. So right now, the side of my head, back of my ribs, back of my pelvis are against my imaginary wall. Inhale over. Exhale upright. Inhale over. Bring it back. One more inhale over, and we continue an arm circle as we reach over. Bring it into a little more fluid flow. Reach, and then circle the arm in the front. We go over, circle the arm, open, over, circle the arm, over, bring both arms up, and let's take our Cleopatra over to the other side. So again, if you were against your upright wall, back of the head, back of the ribs, back of the pelvis. You're taking hold onto your feet so that we can keep our balance and find a little bit more upright length, and over we go. And feel free to sit on a cushion. You'll know if you need to use your cushion, because when you try and taste sitting out with your pelvis on your cushion, does it feel easier, better for you? That's when you're going to sit on your cushion. And breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. We add on that little arm circle. So from overhead, we come forwards. We open the arm. Inhale, over. Exhale, sweep. Breathe in, over. Circle. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Hold. And bring the body all the way, windmill the arms to come into a prone position. And again, space. All about the space. Space, creating space and length across the hips and the pelvis. Space between your ribs and your pelvis. Stretch across the front of your belly. And let's just bring our hands into this position, which we call scarecrow, the reverse of doorpost. Nestle your bones down a little more. Your forehead is not touching your mat. It's just above your mat. So again, the back of your head, back of ribs, back of pelvis. If you were to tilt and rock and roll your pelvis like we do when we're lying on our backs, you can tilt it in towards the mat, tilt it up to the ceiling, rock right, rock left, until you get it right in the middle. But where your sacrum is weighted down, it's getting a little bit of hello in towards your pubic bone and up into your mat. And also it is thinking if someone had a piece of string attached to your coccyx, they're drawing and encouraging that piece of string down towards the space between your heels. Take a breath in. Smiley face across shoulders in the front. Smiley face across shoulders in the back. Exhale as you glide your sternum bone up your wall. And here too, your bottom ribs are still in contact with your mat. Your pelvis and sacrum weighted down. And then drape the sternum and the collarbones down. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the arms and the elbows drawing down your floor as your back heels up. So it's like a reverse pelvic curl. We're just doing a pelvic curl with the sternum and the upper back. The same feeling of articulation. Smooth, great, great. Forward hovers. Take a breath in. Breathe out. Eye line matches your forehead line. Exhale, drape your body down. Tuck your toes under. Lengthen your legs so your thighs and knees come off the floor. Weight your sacrum down and forwards into your pubic bone a little more. Exhale, glide up. Bottom rib still down. And inhale, drape. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go up. And lower down. Two more. Glide up. Glide down. And one more. Glide up. Keep it there. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Wiki, and lower. So gliding the upper arm bones and the elbows to your feet. Still hanging out in the bottom ribs. And drape down. Forehead, eye line, sternum. And lower. Lower your feet. You still want to feel the length across the underneath part of your thighs. And we're going to float forehead, eyes, sternum, ribs, belly button, pubic bone, thighs. Move your hands a little more underneath your shoulders. And exactly as your elbows start bending, we lower the thighs, pubic bone, belly button, ribs, sternum, eyes. Wiki, wiki, wiki with the elbows, rolling upper arm bones and elbows, sliding them down to your heels, we peel. Eyes, sternum, ribs, belly button, pubic bone, thighs, and lower. As we bend the elbows, lower the thighs, pubic bone, belly button, ribs, sternum, forehead. Float forward, eyes. Sternum peels, ribs peel, belly button, pubic bone, thighs. And then bending the elbows, lower thighs, pubic bone, belly button, ribs, sternum. One more to come all the way up. Glide, heel. And immediately rounding into a comfortable rest position. What I forgot to mention with the previous rest position is that maybe your knees feel niggly here. Open your thighs as wide as possible. A. B, you can slot in little bolster cushions underneath here. B. C, if that doesn't work, just flip over onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. And then we take all the tension out of the knees. Breathe in. Reach the arms forward. Bring the body back into quadruped. Give your body a little worm and a little squirm and a little swirl. And then strong, purposeful placement. Quadruped. Tuck toes. Float your pelvis. Sits bones float above your heels. There is a long line here with no kinks or rounds. Breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to extend up. And then you're going to lower back down. Walking the hands a little closer. Rolling through your feet and see how low you can go to bring your heels as close to the floor as possible. Here you are even welcome to open your feet a little wider into a more primitive squat. See how low you can go. I'm going to go back to parallel. See how low we can keep the heels down. Reach the arms forward. Roll through those feet. Roll through the pelvis as though you're doing a pelvic curl, but you're coming into a high kneel. Arms reach. Coming down. Move through those feet last time. Lower those heels. Take a breath in. Exhale as you press. Stand straight up. A little stretch and reach while I re-lift. And hopefully it still stays on its little pin. Okay, so we're in a standing place and it's not as high as I would like it to go, but that's as good as it's going to get for now. And give your body a little bit of a shake. Let's do some swing, swing, catch. It's still not as high as what I would like it. I can't tilt I can't tilt that up because that's where it's broken. Ooh, my friends. Okie dokie. So if we were to continue, still standing, there you see my feet. There we go. Cool. Reach those arms up tall. And then let's swing, swing, catch. Easy go, easy swing. And one more. And shake the wrists, shake the legs. Take a breath in and horse it out. Super, well done. I'm just going to stop the class recording so that I can connect with you all.